Hello, Ravi.
Hi. All right, see you. Do I have your camera off?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll turn it on right now.
It's fine. Not a big deal. Okay. I believe we are at the top of you're doing base.
Sense.
Second line, Rabbi Nasia.
Yeah.
Rabbi Nasia, that's Rabbi Nasi's grandson. Show Rabbi Shimon Bar Nachman. Mao den received solar okay barbos be kashimo the ilzul of. So what does this pasuk mean? Solo seems to be a very unique type of praise to he who rides on Aravos. Aravos is one of the heavens. In Yud-Kei is his name, builds in front of and rejoiced in front of him. Oh, no, we did this one. Abaya Shalom, right? There's this is he's in charge of all the anguish. We got further than this, much further than this. Maybe we finished the we did the marshal, the Paltine, and we're up to we're talking about Shemayim V'Aretz. What is created first? Okay, we started and we didn't finish it. That's the Beishamai Omri Shemayim Nivu Tchila, Achar Kach Oretz. Beishamai Oretz Nivres Tchila, Achar Kach Shemayim. Each one brought evidence for their position. Matam Beishamai, what's evidence for Beishamai's position? Gracious Bolokim Shemayim V'As Oretz. Obviously for Shemayim, right? He made himself a throne. Also, apiforin shalom. Afterwards, he made the footrest, as it says, "The Shemayim kisi, the heaven is my throne. And the land is my footrest." Matan Beisil. What's logical? What's the evidence of Beisil? B'yom Asol Kim Eretz v'Shamayim. And the analogy is going to him is the Melech Shebana Paltin, a king who builds a palace. First, you have to build the bottom of the foundation, and then you can build going up. So to my hand founded the earth, and then my hand shaped the heavens. This is evidence for Beisil. What's that? Earlier or earliest, you founded the land, and your handiwork is the heavens. Said, the very place where Beishamai brings evidence for their position, Misham, from there, Beisil rejects them. My time, the Beishamai, what's his evidence, Beishamai? Gracious Bolokim, Shemayim V'As Oretz. Right, it says Shemayim first. Misham Beisil Masalkin. From there, Beisil reject Beishamai, because it says V'Oretz Chaisa, Far Chaisa. That was the next pasuk says V'Oretz Chaisa So V'Vo. Right, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu made Shemayim after there was Oretz. Right. As a matter of fact, it seems that the Shemayim was only made with the Rakia, that there was no Shemayim beforehand. So it sounds like, on the contrary, like Beisilo, not like Beishamai. Even though it says Shamayim before Oretz, but clearly Oretz was created before Shamayim. So uh, Rabbi Yochanan B'Shem Chachamim Im Lebria. Let's make a kind of like a pshara, kind of a compromise. In Lebria, in terms of creation, Shamayim Kadmu. Shamayim came first. Im L'Shichlul, if it came to finishing off, enhancing and finishing off, Oretz Kadmu, the land came first. Im Lebria Shamayim Kadmu. How do we know that for Bria the Shamayim came first? Breaks well came as the Shamayim as Oretz. The Shamayim for Oretz. Im L'Shichlul Oretz Kadmu. If in terms of the enhancement and the I guess the finishing touches as well, then for that the land came first. Biyom Asoso Shalokim Eretz B'Shamayim. Okay, so the Eretz came first when it came to actually finish things off. We'll come back to it in a second, but in the meantime, Makos Beisom Beishamai, whether Eretz Kadma or Shamayim Kadmu, many people interpret it as being what Beishamai's perspective is relative to Beis Hillel in terms of what is the more appropriate thing to focus on. Is it more appropriate to focus on getting to Shamayim, or is it more appropriate to focus on how to function on Oretz? In other words, if Shamayim Kadmu, so Beishamai is saying to be heavenly is the ideal. And that way, Beis Shammai evidently had very little tolerance for people who weren't pursuing heaven in the right way. Whereas Beis Hillel says, Eretz Kadma, land comes first, meaning that the main thing you have to do is make sure that our society down here is fixed. And then, Olam Haba, Shamayim is icing on the cake. But the main thing we have to do is make sure our society down here is fixed and functioning properly. And that's why when the Gerim came with their stories, Beis Shammai kicked them out and Beis Hillel let them stay because that's part of making, if nothing else, Darkei Shalom, but certainly enhancing the lives of these people down here below. Also, this goes back to the Machlekes, whether you can tell a lie if it's going to make a person feel better, right? By Ketzim Raktiv Neakala, how you dance from Akala, Beis Shammai says, Kala Kamoshi, you don't exaggerate the praise. What she is what she is. And Beis Hillel say no, you always say Kala Nava Chasuda, that she is a pleasant and pious Kala. So according to in this world, it's a world of Sheker. And Sheker sometimes obviously plays a role. So Beis Hillel says you can't be completely Shmei Mi, completely divine, heavenly in this world. So therefore, sometimes the Darkei Shalom, you have to tell a lie. You have to say the Kala is Nova Chasuda, even though she's ugly and stingy. So the point is that according to Beis Shammai, though, if everything has to be a level of Shamayim, it has to be on a complete level of Emes. Okay, so I say Beis Shammai, generally speaking, not always, is Machmir. Beis Hillel, generally speaking, not always, is Mekel. Because this is the difference between Din and Rachamim. Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai, everything should be strictly Midas Hadin. Therefore, it's usually Machmir. Beis Hillel said no. There's an aspect of Rachamim involved as well. Therefore, he's Mekel. So Beis Shammai is willing to deal with the reality in this world. Beis Shammai says no, let's just get out of this world. Okay, so again, what comes first is what's the priority? The person's avoidance. Focusing on Shamayim and getting there is focusing on Aretz and fixing here. Okay, so that's a piece of shot here. The Bria Shamayim Kadmu. Reuchen says, in terms of the Bria Shamayim came first, because you can only influence Aretz and bring it to being if there's a Shamayim. So it works when the Lamas were built, the higher ones were built, and then the lower ones, then the lowest one. So first has to be Shamayim, then only afterwards Aretz. But in terms of what's Mishachlea, what enhances, what puts the finishing touches on the structure, the Aretz is what determines that. Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu said the mitzvahs and averos of Klal Yisrael are going to determine what the world is like, how it's finished, how it's enhanced, or the opposite over time. You follow me a bit about this?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we continue with this issue. Shamayim Barishon Kibbutz Hillel. Beis Shammai, sorry. Shamayim came on Sunday, like Beis Shammai. Also Shloshes Yomim. So then Hashem waited 3 days, and Asu Tolados. Then Tuesday, the land started making payros. There's different species. Rishon was Sheni Vashlishi, and then Birvi Yimoros. On the fourth day, Hakadosh Baruch said, "Let there be a sun and a moon." Yam B'Sheni, the ocean was made the second day. Kivisham also Shlosha Yamim. He waited 3 days. Also Talados, the fish was created on Thursday. Shem Shish Reviu Chamishi Tzu Amayim Eretz B'Shlishi Kivisham. Land was made the third day, according to Shammai, when the land and the sea split apart. Also Shlosha also Shloshes Yomim Vasa Talados, and the 3 days later, which was Thursday, right? No,
Friday.
Friday. Friday the animals were made. I guess it was Friday the animals were made. On Thursday the birds were made. Okay. And as it says, Shlishi or V, V'chamishi, V'shishi Latotzi Arts. Six days the animals were created. Okay. Now that's going to Beis Shammai. According to Beis Hillel, Eretz Rishon to Beis Hillel. Eretz was created the first day. Asher Shnei Yomim Bosu Tolados. Waited 2 days and then they made Tolados. Rishon B'Sheni V'Shlishi Tachei Aretz. Shamayim B'Sheni Kibbutz Hillel. Shamayim was created on the second day according to Beis Hillel. Also Shnei Yomim, they made it 2 days. Also Tolados, they waited 2 days and they made Tolados because on Wednesday the birds were created. Sheni B'Shlishi Revi. Oh no. The Oros, sorry. Shamayim. I'll tell you back. Shliv Revi, Yumoros. Yam B'Shlishi Kibbutz Hillel. The sea was created on Tuesday. Also Shnayim Yomim waited 2 days, and it made fish. Sheni Shlishi Revi Chamishi Yishtu Amayim. So it's a very strange machlekes, right? If it took 2 days or 3 days from the time things are created for their purpose to become, for their purpose which they intended to come out long as well. I don't know what the machlekes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel is, but I think it may be like what we said before. Beis Shammai requires more preparation. Beis Hillel is more, you can jump right into it. Okay, Beis Shammai requires more formal procedures. Beis Hillel's less formal procedures. I don't know if that's true. But that would be explanation of the 3 days versus the 2 days. Okay.
Rebbe.
Yeah.
What are Toldos Shemayim?
Birds.
No, because I have whole chart.
Oh, the Maoris. No. No, it's the Maoris. Has sun and the moon. Maybe I got that wrong before. That's he says here that Shamayim B'Sheni, so right. The second day, then 2 days, and also Tolados, which is the Oros. So Shamayim B'Sheni should be Himoros. Okay. No, I went back. Never mind. Okay. I'm sure Chatmeni Ech Nachlovos Am Abrias Olam. Shani Omer Shmayim Boris Loivu Ella Kalefes Hazeh El Chisuya. So he says, I don't understand what the whole machlekes is. That it was made like a pot and its cover. Those they're made simultaneously. Why have to say one came first? And it's an interesting comment from Shimon Bar Yochai, because Shimon Bar Yochai is saying, Eretz and Shemayim work together. You don't have to emphasize one over the other. They can work together, and that's really what the Kabbalah is all about, I guess. Shiny was trying to my time what's the process. I feel the story to me with my left hand I was making the land, and with my right hand at the same time I was making the heavens. Shimon said, according to this opinion, which my father said, we find sometimes the psukim of Shammai comes before Oretz. Sometimes you find Oretz comes before Shammai. So it comes to teach us the fact that they're interchangeable, that they're both of equivalent importance. So again, according to Beisil, this world is the primary importance. Next world is icing on the cake. So Beishamai, next world is of paramount importance, right? This world, there's certain things which you prepare. According to Shimon Chai, they're both of importance. Shamayim feeds off of Oretz, and Oretz feeds off of Shamayim. It's kind of like a loop. Like our mitzvahs being Shamayim better, and then a shefa coming down from us to us from Shamayim, and then we're able to be mashpia more ourselves. Okay. So that's the mean shklum zekoseh. They work in tandem with each other. Okay, the next Mishnah we have is the first Mishnah in history. Yosef ben Eliezer Omer Shlo Lismoch. Yosef ben Eliezer says you don't do smicha on a Chagigah on Yosef. Yosef ben Yochanan Omer Lismoch, you do smicha. Yerushalmi ben Omer Shlo Lismoch, he says not to do smicha. Nitai Beli Omer Lismoch, he says to do smicha. All these are the Nisim and their avos basin, who are second in command. Shmaya Omer Lismoch, Avkad Omer Shlo Lismoch. Hillel Menachem lo nechluku. Hillel Menachem didn't argue this point. Yotza Menachem left Nichna Shammai, and then Shammai came out. It was Shammai took the place of Menachem. But Shammai Lismoch. I'm sorry. There's a Hillel Lismoch, and Shammai Shlo Lismoch. We say we're showing in the theme in these sequences. The first people enumerated in each of these couples was the Nasi, and the second ones are of those based. So that says, what?
This is one of the 5 times where they actually Hillel and Shammai themselves.
Right. So the Gemara picks up on that. Initially, there was no machlokes in Am Yisrael. You took things to Sanhedrin, you voted, and you got one halacha. Only smicha was a machlokes. Hillel v'Shammai also the divreim. That's what that's what it means. Also, Sandalit. There are 3 other places where they had a machlokes. And the Chomer brings down 3 other places. Not important for our purposes right now. We had a lot of Talmidim Hillel and Shammai who did not learn properly by their Rebbeim. There came many machlokes in Am Yisrael, there was an opinion. Divided in 2 groups. On any issue, the 2 groups. These people say Talmud, these people say Torah. Etc., etc. And can't go back to his original state. Of course, there's no Sanhedrin until Mashiach comes. Rabbi Yehuda, I guess, the Isurim that are part of Shabbos should not be light in your eyes. Because not to smicha on Shabbos is a Torah. Your eyes are going to touch your animal on Shabbos. It's Rabban. So, yeah. So Right. It's only the Rabbanan that you're no, it's not the Rabbanan. What am I talking about? No, it's a rishus. It's the Raisa, but it's a rishus. In other words, smicha is optional. You don't take carbon even if you don't do smicha. Smicha is like a nice thing to do, but it's not required for the carbon. You don't take the carbon. So that from so the Rabbi Beis Hillel said that even a nice thing to do is a good enough reason to do it on Yom Tov. And Shammai said, no, since it's optional, you don't do it on Yom Tov. Right? But it's an optional activity, yet still by Shammai answered it. So we see that we take, even though something is an optional activity, and it's not really a malacha, so nevertheless, Shammai answers it. So you have to be very careful. The Rabbanans, and Minhagim, anything which is not necessarily in the Gemara. Right? But anything was not necessarily in halacha, but it's something which the nation was makbid on it. You got to be makbid on it. Okay, so as he's saying, shus kalei, and it's not is halacha. That's that wrong. Any type of the rabbanon, even one which really comes from them accepting it upon themselves, you have to be careful with, okay? Because otherwise they wouldn't have such a tremendous machlokes here. Amar Yossi says, a person has to push down the animal by smicha with all of his might. The chavosh means to push down with all of his might. Will cover his weight. The low cane is not minor. You're allowed to touch an animal. You're just not allowed to move an animal. It must be that when you do smicha, you do it with kol close, so therefore it's going to move on its own. So therefore, we have the machlekes to be allowed to do it or not. Okay, Hillel Menachem lo nechleku said Yotza Menachem v'nichnas Shammai. So Menachem left and Shammai came and took his place. Lechem Yotza. So Menachem was Shammai's predecessor. Where do you go? Yeshrim mimida lemida. Yotza. He went up from one measure to another measure. In other words, he went off the derech, went up from the proper measure to the improper measure. Yeshrim connect a part of Yotza and against his will, he was taken out. Who v'shmonim tezushas hamilachomim? He had 80 pairs of hamilachomim. V'milubashim tirkei zav, where they were wearing golden garments of some sort. Sheishkiru pneihem keshulei kadera, because they made their face black like the bottom of a pot. Shlomo said to them, right on the horn of a cow, that you have no portion in the God of Israel. So evidently, Menachem left in order to avoid having to do this. Right? They were going to make him sign a terrible thing, and therefore they left. That seems to be the case of the. No, so Karma Ada says, no, they went out to try and convince the Romans to take away that gzera. That's where they went. Menachem went to the Talmud to try and convince the Romans to take away that gzera, that they should have to do that terrible thing. The Pnei Moshe says something more negative about Menachem. He said he wanted to start his own yeshiva, so he was left with 80 Talmidim, and as they're punished later on by that Roman decree, that was the punishment for Menachem and his group leaving and trying to set up their own yeshiva. Okay, I think we'll stop here for tonight. They're black almost, and you let me know about subsequent Sundays if you can learn. Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay. Have a great night.
Thank you, Ribby. Have a good night.